Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another decent deck profile, and this time I'll be covering the updated Lianorn deck profile. I do know that I still have some like DBD12 profiles, especially for the Magnolia mask that haven't been rolling out because I need to do a little bit more adjustment, which it should be coming out next. So don't worry, it will be out. But I also want to start covering the new decks so it can keep going on. So the first one that I actually updated is Lianorn with a lot of new cards. Well, at least a few that is very useful in the deck, and with those supports, it changed how we kind of play the deck after our first ride, and it kind of solved a few problems that I think happening in the deck, which I need to use some other ways to cover it up. But now I think it's way better. So I play tested it today, um, and I feel good playing this deck compared to before that I am trying hard to make myself feel good. It's still fun to play Lianorn back then, but then compared to what we have now, is way different, and I'm very happy with the changes. And when we go over the deck profile, you will see what's the change and what is good about it. Right. So let's go over the right line first. Uh, for 0 and 1, I'm using Roroa because I can generate a plan token, which compared to the Lianorn right line herself, just pulling out a great one that is being a good boost, I don't see it enough, and it's also minus one soul as well, which the souls is very important in this deck. So I'm only keeping the soul usage for Rectina and then going to my Lianorn, and then using the Roa 0 and 1 to generate the plan token so that I can get a good boost early game with some good beaters to push damage early game. The 5k plus 10 on the Rectina is great, or even just 5 and 8 with this is also great. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm going for this right line. I was using the grade 2 Roa right line in my previous build for more plant tokens to do some easier rushing, but now with the upgrades on the deck, with some good choices of great ones that we are available with, I think we can just go over with this right line. And before, I think if we are playing the Lianorn mask build, some people will actually use the Ranger chain one because we will be including the mask order. We will have other orders as well, so that will be a good filtering. But then with this build, I think this right line so far is a good one. If you have other ones, feel free to let me know as well, and then we can just go for it and see. Next, I'm running 4 of a new Marche Fleur Lianorn Vivace or Vivenge, something like that. I'm not too sure about those names because different pronunciation can be different, like from different places. So yeah, so the new Lianorn, it really changes how we play the deck, and her skills is basically what I have been looking for since Lianorn releases, I have to say. So let's talk about her skill. First one is a new type of dress, unison dress. When this unit is placed by riding from a unit with Lianorn is in its different card name from this unit, or a unit that is already in unison dress states, draw a card, and this unit becomes in the unison dress states until end of this fight. So you have to go over the original Lianorn because the Lianorn mask don't allow you to ride directly on the grade 2, and you need a different name from the new Lianorn in order to get into the stage. You can't just go first into this in your right deck because then you won't gain any unison dress in any ways. So you have to do it this way. And why you want to go into the unison dress is because of the second skill, Vanguard circle once per turn. When this unit is in unison dress states and attacks while not boosted, stand out your regards, and they all boost this unit. You don't care about they have the boost icon or not. They will all boost it to your Vanguard, and if you boost it with 3 or more units at the end of the battle, counter last 1, choose 3 of your units, stand them, and they get plus 5k, -1 drive until end of turn. Now, what this means is that you can first attack with your sides, and then your Vanguard go in, and then all your regards will stand, and they all will boost. So you still have a big attack with your Lianorn, but one of the weak points with Lianorn is our first attack is our highest attack, and then the ones that are going in after usually is way smaller unless you are very good at triggering. So now we can do like kind of weak attack first before we go into the big one. And even after the big one, you are still allowed to do 2 more pokes, or 3 more pokes actually, with your Vanguard at least at 18k with 1 drive, which can change a lot of things, right? Good numbers, slightly able to hit sometimes. There's a lot of things you can play with around with your opponent on this, and you also have 2 other extra attacks. So basically you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And if you are also trying to go for more attacks using the Resonance Dragon, then you can probably add another one. So maximum you can do should be 7, but that would eat up a lot of counter blast. But one of the weak point of this card is that you actually need to go into her through a Lianorn. That means you won't get personal right for a turn, because like when a lot of B decks, we have a main Vanguard and then we'll just keep personal riding and apply the pressure through the power. Now we actually need to wait into this. Of course, the 5 boost with 6 attacks is great, it's wonderful, but then all the punches will be small. You need to make them back yourself. So that's one weak point, but I think it's kind of fair. Like after I actually play tested, because if you can just simply go from here to here as a personal ride, that I think is too much, and I don't want to see the card just get emergency banned or something like that. So I think I'll just take it this way. We have to take in it being a little bit small, but you still kind of getting free drive checks, and your 5 boost doesn't cost you anything. That's, I think, is really great, because with Lianorn we need to Soul Blast 1 and discard a card. Now we don't need to, and we kind of having a triple drive just in a 2 attack way, and I think that's even better, right? So very happy with this support. At first because I saw it's like just +5 -1 drive, it isn't too big for the last 3 attacks, kind of like the old Lianorn. After the big hit they are still small, but you are doing 6 attacks, so I don't think we should be complaining about the power. We just need to find ourselves a good way to make use of this. And then I am also including one of the normal Lianorn from the booster that is not the new one, so that we still get a chance to personal ride, just in case we don't draw these into our hand, because I so far don't think there's a search for this. So I'm just adding an extra Lianorn there as a backup, because just going as a personal ride can still help you push game through if you don't see this. So I'm basically increasing the chances of making the Lianorn attack scary, and I'm not using the mask one because I would need to actually add in the mask order, and I don't want to do that. So extra one will be helpful, but if you like already got this, you will definitely go into this and you can just use it as a right at cost if you want to. So won't hurt you at all, I would say. And then as talked about, Resonance Dragon, your basic multiple attack enabler. In the old Lianorn build, we already been using this card, and now it's way easier to get the power boost because your Vanguard just attack, everything boost, you will get more than 3 boosts already. So quite easy, right? And then when your when this card finishes attacking the Vanguard, you have a Lianorn Vanguard, and just this you have already boosted 5 times basically. You can last one, put this into soul, and resend another unit, right? So what you actually can do is just like, okay, one side, the other side, Vanguard, resend the front 3 unit, and then use this side to attack again, use your Vanguard to attack again, use your Resonance to attack again, and then withstand the other side and attack with that again. Or you can go in with Vanguard first, and then go with the side, and then go with Resonance, put it in soul, resend the side, and then attack with the side. So you can do like 7 attacks. But in order to do that, you need to save 1 counterblast for this, you need to save 1 counterblast for this, and you might be using another counterblast. You might for other cards. So do look carefully on your counterblast usage, save what you needed, and then do whatever attacks that is needed. But I think 6 is also okay. If you don't get the 7, I won't bother you too much. I won't force myself to do that. But it's good if you are actually person riding and trying to win, then you might consider the 7th attack being important, right? Okay. Next one is our Luster Import Dragon. So now this is one reason why this deck is expensive. Not only about the new Lianorn being expensive, but this is a very good card for both Lianorn and Granvia. So I've already showed you how I use this card for Granvia, and now why this card is good. Let's talk about the skill again. During your turn, if your back row has 2 or more grid 1 or less regards, which is easy, this unit will get boost and plus 5k. And Regard Circle once per turn. When this card is stand by the ability of your Vanguard with Granvia or Lianorn in its card name, if your Vanguard power is 33k or higher, you can soul blast 1, draw a card, and this unit will get another 5k until end of a turn. So you have potential to bump it to a 20k base unit through 2 skills. You get to draw a card, which to this deck is very important, where in the past we don't have that much cards help us to draw cards. We have cards to bring unit back to the board or bring unit into the board, but then we don't have a defensive way to survive. Now this is helping you to draw more cards. They might be trash still, they might not be helping you in this situation still, but still you have a chance to draw. And the more cards you have in your hand usually means you have a better way to survive. And also given that our deck has changed from like a using order build to a build that you don't need to use order, so chances of getting something with shield value is actually a lot more. So I think draw power is really great, and for Lianorn it's so easy to get over 33k. As long as your Lianorn use skill to boost, you will get there. And then it depends. If this is your Vanguard, then you would put this card to the front. If this is your main Vanguard, then you might put this into the bottom, like at the back row, right? So that you can actually choose it to stand and then rely on the draw. Now next is a card that I have been using before and dropped. Not for testing this, but like throughout the evolution of Lianorn, the Festival Dragon. So this card, when it's placed on Regard Circle from hand, if you have a Vanguard with Lianorn this card name, you can counterblast 1, look at top 3, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less card from them, call the Regard Circle, and that unit get boost until end of turn, and discard the rest. Now The weak point of this card is you have to discard the remaining 2 cards that you revealed as well. So if there are triggers, too bad, right? But this is a good card for you to help rebuilding your board. When I playtest, even though this kind of situation isn't there a lot, but I always want to prepare myself to just have a way to build up my board, because I can't always guarantee I can simply rebuild a board just by playing cards from my hand and through like counterblast 1 draw 1 or ride draw 1, right? I can't guarantee that. So I'm just adding more chances for myself to rebuild the board, or maybe sometimes I'm just still missing a unit for whatever reason, like I don't even draw it, then I at least have another chance to look at the top 3 to find it, right? If I still can't find it, I can't, but I have increases my chances. But in like previous builds that I don't actually get to use this because there are more cards that are supporting like personal rights, more cards that I need to use to support a order usage build, but now I can actually put this in, and the units that I call can even be one of these as a boost for this, so that can be helpful. And more importantly, because I will be running a lot of grade 1s as well, so I still want to balance myself with a little bit more grade 2s that I can actually put it at the side to be using with my Resonance Dragon to like attack or stand with it, but I can still use it as an intercept. So that's a few reasons that I'm using this card. Okay, next I'm running 3 of the new card, Rhythm of Joy and Atlantis. She is a good saver to the deck, which I can't be very sure about that. Let's talk about her skill. Continuous Rigor Circle during a turn. If you have Vanguard with Lianorn this card name, you will get 2k. If your Vanguard is in Unison stress states, it gets 5k instead of 2. So as long as you go into this Lianorn, this is a 13k beater booster. If you're on normal Lianorn, it's a 10k. Not too much of a big deal there, but then being able to hit for 30k is great. To me, the second skill is way more important, even though this adjusts your power as like a 10k pump on it, so your Resonance Dragon can be simply breaching a 28 or at least 23, right? So that is already great. But the second skill, at the end of the turn, your Vanguard was boosted a total of 3 or more times, which is easy. Cost, retire this unit, draw a card, and if your damage has no face-up cards, you can counter-charge 1, which is absolutely important in this deck, because we use a lot of counterblast, and with Lianorn, people who are very clever will always try to give you only 1 counterblast or don't give you any counterblast. So that way you are stuck in using a lot of skills to rebuild your board and you start crashing. But this at least guarantee you 1, as long as you use them all, right? And this allows you to be like more aggressive to use your counterblast, because you will at least have 1 for counter charge, and the draw, as long as you're willing to retire this unit, you will get the draw, and you have cards to actually reborn this. So this is basically what I needed for so long: counter charge and a draw. So I have been using this card like 100% every single match today, unless I don't draw it, and having 2 there and pop them for 2 more cards, counter charge at least 1, that's just simple and great. Seriously, simple and great. So I am tempting to use 1 more, but I think 3 so far is doing me okay, so I'm just keeping it at that. But I might actually increase 1 more by maybe cutting a Lianorn or maybe cutting one of this. But she is really important. She provided what I needed: counter charge and draw. that's basically what I needed in this deck to make it feel good. And just her already let me do that. And then a new Lianorn allows me to do 6 attacks and change my attack sequence. You can see how this is mind blown just by 2 supports. And again, they're just great. And then for DF, a good monster reborn, just bring out the units that you are like stocked in your drop zone through using the right deck or anything, or just retire. Just great and simple 5k plus as long as you have 2 grade 1 or lower units in the back row, which is quite easy to achieve. So yeah, she's always great in the deck and she will always be. And then the first time that I am actually using this promo, Forest Protecting Hunter Prosper. So 2 skills. But this unit is placed on regular circle by card ability, which is basically your Lianorn skill or your DM skill. Then you can you may soul charge 1, and the soul charge can lead to a Lianorn usage or lead to an extra card draw, so that is very important as well. And the second skill, when this unit boosts, if you have a Vanguard with Lianorn in its card name, choose a unit in the same column as this unit and it gets 5k until end of the turn. So if my understanding is correct, it is a skill that is not once per turn, so as long as this unit boosts and you have Lianorn Vanguard, you can basically point to this unit or the unit in front or behind of it to get 5k. So with this, you will be first boosting 1 time, 2 plus 5, stand everything, and boost with them. Then that should bring you another 5, right? That's a direct 10k plus to a column. It will be in the way of 2 times, but that helps you to turn your weak attacks into strong attacks, and it just again very like mind blown. Even though with the old Lianorn you can already do something like that, you can, but this kind of power plus with the new Lianorn is also like applying during the battle and it carries on. So I think that is really, really great. And again, this is the first time that I'm actually using this since May, since I bought this card. And I already know this card is a great card, but I don't always find a good spot to put it in, especially in a Lianorn Master deck, where we always have like decent amount of souls and what we are resetting are just the front row. But now this card will just get to simply boost for 2 times, and that just adjusted the power so well. So yeah, welcome to the team. Basically just that. And ending with 4 PGs, I'm not using the Blizzard PG that is kind of related to some recent experience I have, that I still prefer just make it simple with these PGs, so that when I need to use 1 card to guard, I won't be restricted to do that. But we might see more and more Direct Jewel grade 4 coming in. Jet might come back, and then we have Lord and January coming in, so we might actually need to consider putting 1 Blizzard PG in there. But before that actually happens, then I think we can still use this kind of way to use our PGs, but depending on the situation. So I will just leave it to you, that if you prefer to use 1 slot for the Blizzard, go for it. Or triggers, no orders. Stoichia PG, I think this is great still, but if you want to pick up something that you can use the blue elemental on, I don't think the red elemental one is helping you too much because your Vigas aren't gaining crit by themselves. So far this is still the way to gain crit, and since you're doing like multiple attacking, then there's a lot of things that can get carried over. So far I think this is still a better one to use. And crits, I am running 7 crits. So if you don't have the stolen crit, you can choose not to use it, because with how I play the deck, I don't get a chance to actually play it down for the soul charge. But if you can get 4, you can do it. As long as you don't stuck at the old Lianorn, I think you're fine. So if you really don't have this, while you have other pieces where you spend a lot of money and don't want to spend money on the soul crit, I think that is okay. But if you do have 4, feel free to just put them in, because I just use them as a 15k shield, so it doesn't matter. And then 4 of the 10k draws, and then 3 normal heals with 1 effect heals. The heals I've explained it in so many deck profiles that I always like a slot for changes where this type of deck I think is needed. Some decks don't, but I think this type of deck's needed 1 slot to just have a chance to have a different shield against different situation or meta. And it draws is just great, because you can see the concept that I go in this deck, not only trying to hit a lot of times, hit big power, but I'm also relying on different resources to draw me cards to survive a turn, which I still have resources for the next turn to get a good board and fight back. So instead of going for front for the defensive, I'm going for draw for extra chances to find my pieces while still having some kind of protection while it being a 10k draw. So this is something that you can't dodge by using a simple 5k draw, I think. If you really can't find it, then of course you will just put it in. But if you have a choice, make sure you put them in. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the deck profile. You just play your pieces normally. What I would do, like simple early game, I can just show you usually how I go with. So this right, and then we go into our great one, and we'll just get a plan token. And if I'm going second, I will immediately, since I run so many great ones units, I'll just put them out. Even this I'll just put it out. This I don't think it matters, so I'll always put a great one as wing and as wing. And then when I go into my grade 2, again, it really depends. If you are going first, then you probably will just go for this and this. But if you're going second, then there are a few choices you can make. You can just still keep it as that, and if any triggers go in, you can use this to swing to your opponent's Vanguard if you're going second. But you might be able to hit some other Rigas as well. If you don't get power, it doesn't matter. But you also can do this. But the kind of strategy early game is try to have 2 lines always trying to hit your opponents. And then when you go into your Lianorn, then you will soul blast 1 to bring a great one back, which in this case might be, I just put a random one, this, right? And then now you can turn this and start swinging with this formation. And at the end of the turn, this will be that. These 2 you just pop them to counter charge 1 and then draw 2 cards and then survive the turn, and then you will just go into this, draw yourself another card. Maybe, just maybe, you will have another DM, bring this out, and bring this here, then that's probably the formation you need, right? Even you don't have this, you have this, that's fine as well. Or if you actually have this, then this can actually be quite big, which will be just happy to have. And then you just probably keep doing the same thing again and again, trying to draw a lot of cards if you can. Then that should be it. Yeah. But if you have any other questions you would like to ask about this deck, feel free to drop it in the comments down below. I will just try my best to help you answer them. Or if you have any other ideas, feel free to share with me as well. Because for example, I see some people are using the Great One that copies another unit's power. That you can consider as well, but I still kind of like some intercepts on the field, so I'm using the Great Two Dragon. But you can change these two into the Great One as well. I probably will also try it out. But so far I think this kind of linking the board is great. But yeah, up to you. So I'm happy with this build. I'm happy that Lianorn gets some support that I actually see very powerful. Will this bring the deck to the top? Maybe not when we still have Gandiva, but compared to previous versions where we try very hard and can't even go anywhere to the top, I mean actually this deck have a chance to sneak in sometimes if you face some good matchups, and you do have a lot of draw power to survive right now. You are still hitting big and you are making more changes on your attack sequence to make your big attacks in a little bit later, and then while you're still doing a lot of attacks, that's really kind of saving the deck. And I hope we can actually see more and more people take this deck out to tournaments, to big events, and hopefully they can win more games. Yeah, so I think that's it for this deck profile. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. Subscribe for more deck profile unboxings, deck fight videos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.